The San Francisco 49ers lost over the weekend. Yes, the San Francisco 49ers lost to the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. So now they're 1-1 on the year. So rather than do any some completely reactions or rather than a game recap, I actually want to talk or getting microscopic about that specific game against the Vikings. I'd like to take a step back and show you and tell you maybe some almost more holistic concerns you could say that I have with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, most of this is just, it's like, I'll give you reasons, right? So it's not just that I'm telling you what's up. I'm going to give you the reasons why. And it concerns me and maybe some alternatives that the Niners could practice. But let's start it out. Okay. The Niners, I will go back to this last game right now, actually. So the Niners started out, I believe, with 3 straight passes. So went 3 and out immediately, and punted the ball. Okay, stop. The running game must be established. Winning coaches immediately establish running games. Winning coaches, gosh, so many. Take Kyle Shanahan's dad, Mike. He has won like multiple Super Bowls, like predicated on a running scheme. Now, what does running do? Running does a couple things, and this is what's really important because I said, okay, here's my claim. My claim is that it was incorrect, not just like a, oh, it was a maybe bad decision. No. My claim to Kyle Shanahan and to everybody is that Kyle Shanahan's decision to pass 3 times and go 3 and out was incorrect. And also, even if he went 3 and out, the correct thing to do is to run the ball for multiple reasons. First of all, here, we'll just go for it. Okay. Have you, if you haven't played football, then I'm going to explain a little bit. Okay. Establishing the run and running game, you can literally tell your offensive line, fullback, look, this is the beginning of the game. That man standing right across from you, you smack them and you beat them up. I want car collisions right now. I know that sounds sick and twisted. Football is a sick and twisted physical game. It's a sick and twisted physical game. It's like not my bad. It's their bad for playing the sport. So I digress. But listen, the Niners, they did so many things by denying their run game. But first of all, they denied a couple first shots. You know, in a fight, somebody's like, hey, I'll let you get the first shot. The running game, you immediately, always get the first strike, the first hits in the game. What does this do to an offense when they're allowed to literally just block the heck out of and try to pulverize a defense immediately out of the gate? It provides what I call body blows, okay? So it makes you more tired. Having a man who is 200 to 350 pounds running into you, trying to bowl you over in succession, multiple times over with a running game, it's free shots. You can't say that enough. It's exactly like a boxer going to the body. You have to invest in it because later on is when it counts. So look, real quick, instead of the Niners going head to head, punching those guys in the face to start out with, they said, no, we're gonna protect, and we're gonna protect Purdy. We're not going to be outwardly aggressive and maul you over and take angles with our zone running scheme and angularly destroy you, right? Take a weird angle on those defensive linemen. Chop them up where it doesn't feel good. In a legal way, but still where it doesn't feel good, right? Seriously. Yeah. Get a defensive lineman engaged with one offensive lineman. Another one's chip them a little bit in that midsection. That stuff pays off. The running game pays off in that instance, in that respect. So do we understand now? I'm saying that the running game pays off and that Kyle Shanahan completely neglected it. I'm saying that that is something that is completely incorrect, as in correct versus incorrect. I've given you one reason, is that the body blows and the first strike and first shot can always be had through the running game, and also that that the body blows will come in handy in the battle of attrition that is a game. i.e., later on in the game, those defensive linemen, those linebackers will feel it in their legs, they'll feel it in their midsections, getting leaned on, getting punched on in the running game from crazy angles all day. Stop. That's not all, that's just one side of it. That's one side of it. So, I've gone on and I've ranted right now real quick, but I've given you reasons. This is the other reason, okay? And I really want you to understand this because I believe that the Niners probably, I didn't even look at it. I don't even care. Like, honestly, I don't even care because it doesn't matter to what I'm saying. However, listen to this. I believe the Niners probably had the better of time of possession. Stop. Doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? Because Kyle Shanahan, by not having continuous progressive running game that chews up a little bit of the clock, what that also does is it respects your own defense. By running the game, by running the ball, by taking, so say 2 rushes, right? So say you get 2 rushes for 6 or 7 yards total, okay? So 3.5 yards per carry. That's like 60 seconds to a minute, at least, that your defense gets to rest on the sidelines a little bit. But the opposite is what Kyle Shanahan has been doing. I gave you that example because Kyle Shanahan has been doing the opposite, which is this, which is that 3 and out, that 90 seconds that the defense got total, because you go 3 and out and you don't get a first down. You're not moving the sticks at all, right? The running game helps you progressively move the sticks in generally guaranteed increments of like, Jordan Mason probably averages over 5 yards a carry, number one. But what I'm saying is an average rushing game will get you freaking 2 to 5 yards a carry. Can we all agree on that? Because it's probably a fact if we look it up. Now stop. That progressive, that helps like a third and less than 5, helps your quarterbacks out, helps everybody out, but it also helps the clock to progress and is respecting your defense. I believe that Kyle Shanahan, amongst all NFL coaches, respects his defense very little. I know he loves the guys, but I don't think that as a coach, he shows respect to them. Almost akin, and this is where I'll go slippery slope. The most disrespectful coach on offense was Chip Kelly on the Niners. That dude would, because he believed in that, like that Oregon offense, that duck offense, which was like go, 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 like almost no huddle. It was just like go, go, right? Well, what happened is the Niners like got up to the line of scrimmage, incomplete pass. Got up to the line of scrimmage, incomplete pass. Got up to the line of scrimmage, incomplete pass. Third and out in like 45 seconds. Like literally in the Chip Kelly days, the Niners would go like 3 and out in like 45 seconds. And the defense on the Niners were like, what do you mean? I like literally, I can't even like, dude, I like can't even tape up. I can't even get a drink of water. I have to go out and play defense again. But I was just on defense. Chip, I was just playing defense. I can't rest. What about those other guys? Those offensive guys? Why am I on the field playing my ass off? And then, I won't wash my legs, but it's like, and then these guys, this offensive guys come in like on my same team and they trick away 3 downs in like 45 seconds. That's unacceptable and it's disrespectful to a defense. It's disrespectful. I actually believe that part of the reason that I think that part of the reason that it doesn't matter. I think it's interesting that Niners' selection of defensive coordinators and were they inside entities or were they outside entities who were going to stand up for their defense and question Kyle Shanahan when he like just disrespects with these 3 and outs that take like 30 seconds. Dude, you can't do that. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. I just went for almost 10 minutes just on that first 3 and out because it's indicative. And if you look at it, like Kyle Shanahan does that all the time. And it's part of the reason why he like fails. It's a huge reason is that he abandons the running game. And he abandons the running game at all the worst times. Take the Super Bowl. I think the Niners passed it 9 times in a row. Last Super Bowl. That's what lost them the Super Bowl. That's what lost them the Super Bowl. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and if he was afraid that Christian McCaffrey was going to fumble again, Christian McCaffrey already got that fumble out of the way. I can't even believe why he didn't carry the ball like 50 times that game. The world may never know. But the thing is that body blows, all those collisions on offense matter. Investing in the run matters. Check out the last Super Bowl. Like literally, Kyle Shanahan, they abandoned the run. They did it again. So, yeah, so that's one thing. That's one thing. So, yeah, run game sets the tone, delivers body blows, respects your defense through clock management. That's what the running game does right off the bat. Bill Walsh, Mike Shanahan, and if Niners fans in the last 10 years, okay, this is a huge one. Niners fans in the last 10 years, go and rewatch those Seattle Seahawks games when the Seahawks ran rampant over the Niners. I believe the Niners had a lot. Okay, both those teams were amazingly talented, right? Just locked and loaded, both of those teams. Amazing. However, the thing is that when Seattle got in trouble, they ran some more behind Marshawn Lynch. They just ran. It is very hard to explain what having to, absolutely, you must tackle ball carrier. There's no incomplete passes or anything like that. And having big mauling men come after you to try to block, that sucks. I played tackle football. It stinks. Here's the thing. The lack of a commitment to running game as well. And I'm just going to come up. The Niners, they play action 7% on Sunday. 7% of the Niners' offensive plays were play actions. That's unacceptable. That's the lowest they've almost ever had. When you pass and when you're so dedicated to the pass that you abandon the run, the ball is very easily identifiable. The ball will be in the quarterback's hands. Again, when the Niners pass it, it's going to be in Brock Purdy's hands, 99.999%. When they run it, and this is interesting, Kittle can run it, Debo, Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy, Jordan Mason, Kyle Juszczyk, Brandon Ayuk, all those guys can run it. Seriously. They're not honing in on the quarterback. And, okay, you can also see statistics will follow exactly what I'm saying as Brock Purdy has taken some of the most hits of any quarterback, and also he's held the ball some of the longest in the league. Go look at the stats if you want to, but here's the thing. The bottom line is that Kyle Shanahan isn't setting things up. You establish a running game so you can set up plays in the passing game. Kyle Shanahan bypasses all of that, thinks that just he can get away with that through some movement and abandon the running game and abandon the play action. And I'll tell you what, coach to coach, because I coached flag football within the last couple of years, okay? Coach to coach, that's lazy. That's a lazy human being. It absolutely is. It's laziness and also it's insolence. So if Kyle Shanahan were right here, and I'll look right into the camera, I would say, look, you're abandoning the running game, your disrespect for the defense, and also there are other things are why you're insolent and why you have failed when it has mattered the most. Mike Shanahan, Bill Walsh, they lived by that running game. You know what was rumored? That Bill Walsh had a card, and it said, if you are up in the second half, turn this card over. And the card said three things. Well, it said one thing three times. Run, run, run. Seriously, go look that up. That is absolutely the truth. Also, it seems like Kyle Shanahan lacks the situational awareness to understand when to invest in certain parts of the game. He seems to invest in the passing game when the running game needs to be established. He seems to run sometimes, honestly, when it looks like maybe a quick perimeter pass might be the best angle of attack, right? A quick pass that almost acts as a run, which the Niners still didn't do that much in the last game either, right? It's laziness, in my opinion, seriously, and it's insolence. But the other thing is, with a holistic approach, as we step back and take a look, is that the Niners on defense, they are not gang tackling. It's like every man isn't going to the ball. You don't see like 11 or whatever red jerseys flowing to the ball on defense. And that, it does sicken me and it angers me, but whatever, dude. It's not me that's getting busted out there, right? Fred Warner is having to do so much that I feel bad for the man, because the rest of the defense is, I think the word is feckless, when you just don't have the soul, that combative spirit to tackle hard, to friggin' gang tackle, to put justice to those who served before you in the champions, Ronnie Lott, Bryant Young, even those who were dominators, Patrick Willis, right? The Niners current defense are doing the past defense and the history defense a disservice, because they aren't playing with enough tenacity and they're not playing violent enough. Yeah, that's what I said it. Why? Because football is a violent sport. And here's the difference. Here's the difference between football and other sports. In baseball, if you don't win, okay, maybe you don't win. You win some, you lose some. Soccer too as well, right? In football, if you don't win, you get beat up. You physically get punked. People take you physically. They combatively knock you to the ground, tackle you, push you to the ground, and then stand on top of you. And I do have to say this, that if you saw that the Minnesota Vikings mocked essentially Ricky Pearsall getting shot with singing Many Men in the locker room. Now, this is all, I guess, reportedly. I guess I have to say that allegedly, but you look it up. That's what happens. Are you following me now? It's not like they say good game. It's like they throw dirt in your face and they rub it in and while they're kicking your shins. That's football. That's the sport that you chose to follow. I'm just saying, if you're here, you chose to follow an incredibly violent sport where literally you barely even go backwards. It's like, right? You are always going forwards. Right? So it's like immovable force, whatever, object, bomb. Okay. The Niners weren't nearly physical enough on defense, and they should just be ashamed. It's really scary that I'm calling them out on that lack of defensive tenacity and whatnot, but I think that will change, but I don't think it's going to come from the coaching, right? I think that Nick Sorensen he seems relatively passive. It doesn't seem very aggressive with the scheming or anything like that. They sat back as Justin Jefferson dominated them and just bombed on them for 97 yards. That's indicative of some weak play in a bad scheme, honestly. So it's here's what I really need is if Nick Sorensen is relieved of his duties at the end of the season and the Niners don't make the Super Bowl, then Kyle Shanahan needs to go with him and maybe don't. It's just because I believe that Kyle Shanahan is pushing for guys as defensive coordinators who he can walk over because they won't question his offensive tactics. And the defense is just going to get worn out. So the bad news is remember that I said this. I think the Niners probably won a lot of their closer games last season. They're not going to do that. I don't think that they'll win as many close games this season because I think that they're going to wear out at the end even more because they're not the assertive team, right? It's just not the hit squad anymore, ladies and gentlemen, honestly. It can be something, but it is so tough when a defense has the mentality of your coordinator. To have a coordinator that it seems for all intents and purposes passive and soft, it's going to be tough. So I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could ask Nick Sorensen about his sort of softer scheme to his face. Maybe I'll get the press pass someday. But look, I wanted to be honest with you, and it's when I break things down, I really want to tell you the reasons why, right? It's I have questions about Kyle Shanahan. Why? Because he abandons the running game when the only thing you need to establish is that. Because he's not varied, because he prepares to fail, okay? Why am I critical of the defense? Well, because those guys weren't hitting. They didn't come to show up, sans Fred Warner. So I'm giving you actual examples, right? Actual examples of, and I hope that you can respect that. And I hope that, I hope that we all learn something and we will see where the Niners go. Can the Niners win the Super Bowl this year? Absolutely. They're the most talented team in the league. Again, 2 more times. The Niners are the most talented team in the league. The Niners are the most talented team in the league. They should win. They should win last season. But the things that I'm talking about right now have been enduring for the last few seasons, and I think that hopefully they've enlightened you a little bit. Is Kyle Shanahan a great coach? Absolutely. If you were to ask me who are coaches that I would take over Kyle Shanahan right now, Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, and DeMeco Ryans immediately. Did you hear me? One more time. Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a leader of men, and they will always play aggressively. He's also a champion. So he won the Super Bowl, Jim Harbaugh, college football champion, leader of men, and his teams play harder than, so the Niners teams under Harbaugh with Patrick Willis, with Frank Gore, they played harder and tougher than the Niners under Kyle Shanahan. So that's the reason why I would take Jim Harbaugh over Kyle Shanahan. One more time, because his teams play harder. They're tougher. They're tougher teams. And I like football teams that visibly make that effort. They don't have to question the effort. And then DeMeco Ryans, actually. So, yeah, I would rather have him because also when I see the way and the vibrancy and the fight that the Houston Texans and DeMeco Ryans has, I love that. All day long, all day strong, I would take those coaches as an alternative to Kyle Shanahan. Easily. And I just gave you reasons. So it's like I've given alternatives. I've assessed some problems. The Niners can easily fix these problems, but I think that you have to admit to something in order to fix it. Kyle Shanahan, I don't think will ever admit to being wrong. Everything's right, and if it's wrong, it's somebody else's fault. Let's fire another defensive coordinator, shall we? Okay, till the next time, I'm C-Train, and I'm out.